Hey guys, I am waiting right now for Isabel's gymnastics practice to be over to pick her up, and something new I'm doing today that Dan and I decided to try basically was Isabel's at practice for 3 days a week and they're 3 hours long. So we decided that he would take one day and he would just be gone for those 3 hours. I would take one day and just have those 3 hours, and then we'll kind of tag team the Saturday practice. But today is my day and it's my first day of doing this, and so I've had 3 hours to myself, no kids, while he is taking care of everything at home. So it's been kind of exciting and I almost don't even know what to do with myself. I'm on just like a little walk now. I just finished doing some window shopping. I went to like TJ Maxx, Home Goods, and looked at the fall decor and all that, but definitely exciting to have some time to myself, and I'm gonna look forward to this time as we get into this routine. And definitely just, I'm excited basically. Anyway, I thought I would go ahead and use this time to film a pregnancy update rather than try to figure out a time at home when I can be, you know, left alone, even though I wasn't necessarily like prepared. But 27 weeks, which is exciting because it's my last week of second trimester. Soon I will be in third trimester, which is always exciting to hit that last little, you know, stage in pregnancy. It is birthday season coming up and then holiday season, so I feel like right now I'm just in this push of like planning and making sure everything's gonna get done before baby comes, because I want to have a good chunk of time just with the baby and not have to worry about the stress of holidays and all the things that come along in normal life. I just want to make sure that we get some slow time with this new one. So I feel like this is starting the final push of getting all those things. So it's birthday season, it's holiday planning, it's Christmas planning, it's just all the things. So that's kind of where I am now. Baby is the size of a cabbage according to the app this week, which last week was a butternut squash or a spaghetti squash. Last week was a spaghetti squash. And honestly, I feel like a cabbage is smaller than that. So I don't know. I don't know how they do the fruits, or vegetables. But that's what it says this week. And really the only difference is that it's been like another ½ inch. It still says 2 pounds, just like last week. So 13 weeks to go, and here we are. The other exciting, I guess, thing is it says baby can recognize mom and dad's voice. And I assume like siblings' voices too, maybe. So that's cute. That's this week. That's exciting. I have had no more spotting or anything since my last update. Again, I didn't think it had anything really to do with like baby or pregnancy, but just confirming with you that there has not been any more, and I am not worried about it, and I don't think it is going to be an issue here. This week, the biggest update has to do with gestational diabetes testing. I have started the at-home finger pricks. So basically, I am doing an alternative glucose testing for gestational diabetes. Most people, I feel like, just drink the drink and then they do the 1 hour test. And if they fail, then they do it repeated with a 3 hour. And I have never done that. I have opted for an alternative with every single pregnancy. So this is my third time now doing the finger prick test. And basically I do it 4 times a day. So when I wake up, my resting or fasting numbers and test is what I do. And then I test again 2 hours after breakfast, lunch, dinner. So then basically I see my numbers, I write them down in my journal with what I ate, and then I will go over those with my midwife at my next appointment, which is in 2 weeks from now, and we will discuss what she's seeing, the numbers, if I do or do not have it. I can tell you, like, I've been through this before. I am 99.9% sure, again, I do not have gestational diabetes. I have not had it in previous pregnancies, so I didn't think I would get it with this pregnancy, but I did want to test, and I was curious because you just never know. Each baby could be different, and then I was like, well, I've never had a boy, so maybe a boy would be different. But so far, there's nothing to report. I mean, waking up, everything is 90s and below. After meals, I haven't had anything above like 130. Most are still under 100 or like 110. So still like pretty good. I had one reading. I've had one reading so far that has been 150, which was actually one of the very first readings I did, and I was like, oh shoot, I've got it this time. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But since then, since I've like continued tracking, I have not had one that has been like that. And what I think was different about that one is that I was so tired that day. I wanted to take a nap. I couldn't nap because the girls weren't napping, but I like kind of laid on the couch while they played and just rested, and I did not move around at all. Like, I was just basically a couch potato, and then I did some work and sat after that. So yeah, I didn't have much movement, and that's been pretty much the only difference. And I have been following for quite some time, actually, a girl on Instagram, Glucose Goddess. I highly recommend her. She has just such a wealth of information and knowledge about glucose and glucose spikes, and so I have followed her for a little while and actually changed some of my eating habits based on information that she had previous to all this. But one of the things she talks about is just how big the difference between just taking a 10, 15, 20 minute walk or doing something active, vacuuming, or, you know, just dancing to music or whatever is, or exercising, whatever, and how crucial that is in the glucose spike. And that one reading where I was 150, I had literally almost an all protein meal. No carbs, no sugar. It was beef, lettuce, tomato, onion. Like, it was basically a taco salad at home with no dressings, no, like, it was so plain. It was a salad. So literally no like nothing that could have caused me to spike except for the fact that I did not move. And so that has been just a wild kind of realization, just how crazy movement really could be and how crucial a role that could play. And so I know for people who get diagnosed with gestational diabetes, it's always like, you know, diet and exercise. And I just never really thought about how big of a role the exercise really played. Other things, like, if you, I would recommend you follow her, but like another thing that I have changed just over the last year or so is the order in which I eat food. So she suggests, you know, eating your greens or your vegetables at the beginning of a meal, then your protein, fat, followed by your carbohydrates and your sugars, including fruits and that sort of thing. And while I don't follow that like 100%, for example, tonight I had beef stew, which is like you eat the meat with the potato with the carrot, right? And so I don't like follow it 100%, but in tonight's dinner, I had a couple bites of carrot, a couple bites of meat, and then I went back and had a bite with carrot, meat, and potato. So I didn't introduce the potato until after I had a little bit of the other stuff, and then kind of mixed it all together or whatever. But it's just simple things like that. Or if you're at a restaurant, you know, and you get a bread basket, don't necessarily eat the bread basket right away. Save some and eat it a little bit later. Simple things like that have just been, I think, very changing in the way that I eat and the way that my sugar has been showing. I will say though, that one thing I'm confused about and like can't wait to kind of talk about, and my midwife may not know this, like I may have to talk to somebody who's kind of specializes more in this, but my body, I actually have been getting some readings that are better after I have sugar. So like if I have a normal dinner, I'll get readings of say 120. And then if I have a normal dinner with a milkshake or a malt or a s'more or something, my readings will go down, you know, 10, 20 points. Like I think I had dinner with a malt and it was like 99, like under 100 was my reading. And I'm like, how can I have straight up sugar and have a lower reading than when I just have a normal dinner? And I know I have heard, like, you know, some people, the actual things you think about as sugar are not the thing that puts you over the edge. It's more the carbs, like the potato and the rice and that sort of starchy stuff. But just, I don't know, this whole thing has been so mind-boggling. I don't remember having such like crazy results with my other two that I did this for. And that's another reason I think like the whole alternative way or the finger poke is kind of like a cool method. Like, you get to know about how your body is reacting to certain things rather than just like taking a quick drink and not knowing anything. I don't know. I feel like I always learn a lot every single time I do this about my body, the way I function, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that is the alternative method that I'm doing at the moment. And let's see, what else? Oh, the other update this week, I feel like my legs they're not cramping. I'm not getting leg cramps, but I feel like I'm at the point where I almost could get a leg cramp, if that makes sense. And so I know that typically what I would do is up my magnesium or start taking magnesium, because honestly I'm not taking extra magnesium right now. So typically I would just start taking magnesium. It usually alleviates it. But I am just having a horrible aversion to the magnesium powder. And so I want to get some pills to do that, but there are so many different types and kinds of magnesium that I don't know which type I would need to buy for this specific problem. And so it like would take research. It's like one of those things you just keep putting off because you would have to do research and then you have to order it, and I see the doctor in 2 weeks and I'm like, well, he could just tell me which type. And so I've been holding off for that. But I have realized that I'm probably gonna need to make sure that I do that, because I am starting to get just, or almost like I feel like a vein could pop out. And I've never had varicose veins or spider veins or anything pop up in pregnancy, but I'm like, if there was a pregnancy where I could get it, like it feels like this could be the one. So I do want to make sure, like hopefully, it might not happen in the next update, but hopefully 2 updates from now when I've seen the doctor, I'll have started magnesium. Hold me to that, guys. It seems like baby is still preferring the transverse position. He has like tried out the pelvis a couple times, but for the most part, he's staying pretty transverse, and we should be getting to the point like here in the next 1 to 2 weeks where he's starting to change and be head down, hopefully. So hopefully he gets the memo that it's about time to do that, because I feel like I'm stretching. And a lot of people have been asking about names recently and if we have figured out a name yet. The answer is no, we haven't. We haven't actually even talked about it or brought it up since early on in pregnancy when I did the Q&A. It'll probably be still a couple more weeks until we even think about it. 35, 36 weeks before we start thinking names. So no, sorry. Answer is no, we still have not thought about names. If you have some suggestions, put them in the comments. Give me some names to think about. I would appreciate it. We need some more options. I think that's about it. I have really not been that hungry, but I am forcing myself to eat. I'm just kind of chugging along. So that's the update for this week. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll sign off with a bump shot. Might have to be when I get home because I have nowhere to hold this camera and show you. But there's a brief one. Sitting.
I get so caught up in the middle, thinking of drowning in those blue eyes. I'm losing sight 'cause I am falling. I'm so deep down, and it's not a lie that I die. I can't hide.